was scrolling my YouTube feed about 10 minutes ago, and this video dropped in my recommended feed from Pierre Poilievre, his YouTube channel. We all know he's got a presence, which is why so many younger Canadians know about him, quite frankly. But he was live in front of a press corps this morning, and he was revealing some rather shocking documents that the committee responsible for trying to investigate the security breach at the Winnipeg Public Health Agency lab back just before COVID started, coincidentally enough. Just saying. But there have been documents that have just finally come to light that are government documents, government reports, that the head of the lab, the head of the unit, was in collaboration with the head of the the head of the Academy of Sciences for the People's Liberation Army in China. And that this has been a massive cover-up since then. Now, I'm going to let Poilievre talk, and we're going to hear the extent of this insanity. And if anybody that works for, especially like public servants, now if anybody still working in this government thinks that this is a guy that is better than Poilievre, I don't know what to say to you anymore. I don't know how this many massive scandals and massive cover-ups can come to light and people still defend this person and his government. So let's hear Mr. Poilievre explain to us the extent of these documents.
Cost, the crime, the corruption, and the cover-up. But now we know that he cannot protect our people or our country. We've just received these documents that Trudeau has been covering up for years. Documents related to a massive security breach at the Trudeau government's most sensitive laboratory, where the most dangerous viruses and pathogens are studied and handled. We have learned that the Trudeau government's head of pathogens was collaborating with members of Beijing's People's Liberation Army, who are responsible for bioweapons and bioterrorism.
Now, this is very important to remember. This lab that was breached, it, as was just said, this lab is a government lab. This is not a lab in a university. This is not like a private enterprise. This is a government-funded, government-established Public Health Agency of Canada laboratory where we study these insanely dangerous viruses and pathogens in order to combat epidemic outbreaks or bioweaponry. This is not a little mom and pop thing. This is a big deal, and this is the top lab that's been breached.
We know now that a People's Liberation Army official was able to gain personal access, walk in the door, look at computers, and has access to all of our most important virological secrets.
So this head of pathogens for Canada, okay, for the government, the head of pathogens for the country, Dr. Chu, allowed these government documents verify that she allowed members of the People's Liberation, the head official of the People's Liberation Army, personal access to the lab, to the computers, and to the data gathered on our virological studies.
If you think any of this is hyperbole, read the report yourself. This is from government documents, the Trudeau government's own documents. It says here on page 142, Winnipeg lab scientist Dr. Chu, Special Pathogens Unit.
So Dr. Chu of the Special Pathogens Unit. The stream kind of glitched a little bit, which is annoying.
The top person in that job, according to documents on page 242, quote, represents a serious and credible danger to the government of Canada as a whole, and in particular at facilities considered high security due to the potential for theft of dangerous materials attractive to terrorists and foreign entities that conduct espionage, damage the economic security of Canada, end quote.
So that's a quote from a government, like a government report from within Trudeau's government, stating that Dr. Chu, the head of the pathogens unit, represents a credible and clear danger to the security of Canada. And Trudeau buried this. This is just like, we knew about the breach in 2021, and the committee's been established to investigate it since, and it's taken until now for these documents to come out. And I would just, like, he also points out in a couple of minutes that there is a Liberal on the committee. So, like, there are 3 MPs and 3 judges on this committee. And 4 MPs and 3 judges on this committee, and one of the MPs is a Liberal.
End quote. It states further on page 239, investigators assess that Dr. Chu communicated with foreign entities during her trips to China. The evidence obtained from interviews and from information collected from the electronic content of her devices reveal that this is indeed the case. As a subject matter expert with access to sensitive information and dangerous materials, Dr. Chu presents a realistic and credible threat to Canada's economic security when conducting repeated and clandestine meetings with foreign entities, end quote.
No shit. Not just an economic impact to threat to Canada. Can you imagine if, God forbid, China develops something that they stole from us, or that we technically didn't steal from us because a member of Trudeau's government basically handed it to them, and they kill like millions of people? Can you imagine? Can you imagine Canada's fucking national embarrassment and shame? And just, this is huge. And it shouldn't matter what your ideology is at this point. Okay? This is bad. This is really, really bad. And we need to get him investigated. And the only way to get him properly investigated is to get him out. Because as long as he is in, he is going to continue these document cover-ups. This is, and as I said, it shouldn't matter whether you're like left or what, like this is beyond ideology. This is a threat to all of us as a country. You can't, like, China is not an ally. And the fact that Trudeau actually says that he admires China's basic dictatorship, and that these government documents are showing that he knew about this, and then that he wanted it. Polyev will go on in a moment. It'll address a vaccine procurement. That the fact that Trudeau wanted to get a vaccine from China after this knowledge was revealed to him.
Then it says Dr. Chu conducted joint research with the Major General Chen Wei of the People's Liberation Army, who, according to page 236, is a noted top virologist at the Academy of Military Medical Sciences and is China's chief biological defense expert engaged in research related to biosafety, biodefense, and bioterrorism. Bioterrorism, end quote.
Not bio-counterterrorism. Bioterrorism.
And these are documents. This is right out of the government's own documents. Trudeau, what did he do when he found out about this? Did he immediately inform Canadians of the breach? Did he fire anybody?
No,
no one was fired. Did he call an inquiry to get to the bottom of it? No, he didn't do that either. Instead, he covered it all up. He defied 4 parliamentary orders to release these documents.
Yeah, that's the other thing. 4 parliamentary orders. Now, this man ran for the first time back in 2015 on election reform, parliamentary transparency, all that good stuff, right? And this is what we have after 8 years. This is what we have. And the fact that we have this should scream volumes to you about all of the other things that he talks about just everything. Basically everything that Trudeau says, you should do the opposite. Like everything that Trudeau says, believe the opposite at this point. Because that's the safer bet. And as I said before, and especially if you are working in this government, if you can't see this for what it is, you're lost. You are absolutely lost. And I hope that you that you don't get swept up by the rest of us. Because we are done. We are done with being lied to. We are done with being told that what we see is not what is actually happening. And you guys that are denying all of this are in for a very, very bumpy ride from the next couple of years. And I hope you're ready for it. And I don't mean violence. I just mean policy change and attitude shift. And it's not going to be comfy. And it shouldn't be, because we've gotten far too complacent. And we need to recognize how bad this is and how far this government has taken us down the wrong road. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.